Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in on day 19 of Purushottam Adhika Mas. We are doing our everyday prayers in this month so as to access more and more of the mercy of Shri Guru and Gauranga. And we're dedicating all the activities that we're doing right now for the quick recovery of Zona Srila Jayapataka Swami, Srila Guru Maharaj. Maharaj is in the Rela Institute in Chennai, undergoing a couple of tests, and there's some issue with the hemoglobin levels and all that. So we pray for the quick recovery of Zona Srila Jayapataka Swami, Srila Guru Maharaj. So let us first start with the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. With Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Ram
Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजाकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्रेष्ठ ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गंगा मैया की जय, यमुना मैया की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, समेत भक्तवृंद की जय। कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, कलियुग पतित पावन हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna, all glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna, all glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Shila Prabhupada ki jai, Shila Gurudev ki jai, Anant Koti Gaura Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in. So now we will go on to the next section, which is study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the most auspicious month of Purushottama Adhika Mas. It is auspicious to study the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled Purushottama Yoga, and is also auspicious to study Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14, which is the prayers of Lord Brahma to Lord Krishna. So we'll do that as per our regular routine. And then today we will also read the translations of all the verses. Right? Prabhupada has spent so much of time in writing the translations to these beautiful verses. So we will read the translation of chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, then we will move on to Bhagavatam, and then we will sing these beautiful songs, Yugalashtakam, Chaurashtakam, and then we'll study perfection of yoga, and then we will end with Harinam Sankirtan. So that's the schedule for today. So quickly, let me share my screen, and we will go on to this Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaura Dushe Namaha Panchatattva Atmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Taralaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripadamaham Vande Shri Guru Undinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhamulam Adaha Shakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved. Translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, it is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its root upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas. Adaschodvam prashritastasya shakha guna pravridha vishaya pravalaha adasya mulananusanthatani karmanuvandini manushya loke. The branches of this tree extend downward and upward, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. Narupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto nachadir nacha sampratishtha ashvattamenam suviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva tadapadam tat parimargitavyam Yasmin gathana nivartanti bhuyah tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yataha pravrti prasarata purani. Translation: the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it begins, where it ends, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. This is asanga shastrena dridena chitva. Right? How do we cut it? Ashwattham enam sviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. Na rupamasyeha tatopalabhyate nanto na chadya na cha sampratishtha ashwattham enam sviruda moolam asanga shastrena dridena chitva. All right. Tameva chadyam purusham prapadye yata pravrti prasruta purani. So thereafter one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Nirvana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama dvandve vimukta sukha dukkha samnyaye gacchantya muda padamavyayam tat. Those who are free from false prestige, nirmana, moha, illusion, jita sanga dosha, false association, adhyatma nitya vinivritta kama, want to understand the eternal, who are done with kama, material lust, dvandve vimukta, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, sukha dukkha samnyer, who consider both happiness and sadness as the just passing of each phase, they are not attached to it. Gacchantya Mudha Padamavyayam Tat, and who unbewildered, they surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Padam Avyayam Tat. They know how to surrender to the Supreme Person and attain to his eternal kingdom. Na tadbhasete sodyo na shashanko na pavakah yadgatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Na tadbhasete na suryo na shashanko na pavakah. So that abode, which is Goloka Vrindavan Dham, does not need a sun or a moon or a fire or electricity to illuminate the place. And Yadgatvana Nivartante Taddhama Paramamama. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Mamaiva Amsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Manahasastani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Mamaiva Amsha. Krishna is talking about all the verses in this chapter are spoken by Lord Krishna himself. Krishna is saying, Mamaiva Amsha Jiva Loke. All the jivas are my eternal fragment, parts and parcels. Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. They are all eternal. Manasustani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. But the Karshati means you are struggling. You are struggling with the mind and Sastan Indriyani and the 6 senses, including the mind and the 5 senses. Now we are struggling in this material world. Prakriti Sthani Karshati. In the Prakriti, in this material world, we are struggling with the senses which include the mind. Shariram yat avapnoti yat chapi utrutatmatishvaraha gritvaitani samyati vayurgandani vashayat. Shariram yat avapnoti yat chapi utkramatishvaraha. Whatever is the conception that we've carried, whatever is our guna, whatever is our desire, whatever is our interest, whatever is our activities, according to that, we take from one body to another. Shariram yad avapnoti. Gritvaitani samyati vayur gandhani vashayat. And this is like how air carries aromas. Like that, the subtle body carries our desires and takes us from one gross body to another. Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam granam evacha adhishthayam anaschayam vishayanupasevate. The living entity that's taking another gross body obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. It thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Utkramantam sitam vapi bhunjanam vagunanvidam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body enjoys under the spell of the modes of material nature. Bhunjanam vagunanvidam. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. One whose eyes are anointed with knowledge, such a person will be able to see this like that. Yatanto yoginas chainam pashyantyatmanyamasitam yatantopi kritatmano nainam pashyanta chetasaha. The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this very clearly. Pashyanti means to see. Pashyanti atmani avasthitam. Yatantopi kritatmano nainam pashyanti achetasaha. So who cannot see? Those whose minds are not developed, who are not situated in self-realization, they cannot see what is taking place, although they may try. Yadadityagatam tejo jagadbhasete khilam yachandra amasi yachagnav tat tejo viddhimamakam. Yadadityagatam tejo, that means what is the splendor of the sun? Jagadbhasete khilam, which dissipates the darkness of the entire world. Yachandra amasi yachagnav, that means the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire. Tat tejo viddhimamakam, they are all emanating from me, they all have come from me. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayamaha mojasa pushnami choshadi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. Somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Rasa means juice of life to all the vegetables. Am vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham asritaha pranapana samayuktaha pachamyannam chaturvidam. Pachamyannam chaturvidam, 4 kinds of foodstuffs. So Krishna is saying, I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of the living entities. I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, and digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. Prabhupada explains in the purport here, there are 4 kinds of foodstuffs, that which are licked, sucked, chewed, and swallowed. All these 4 kinds of foodstuffs, Krishna helps in digestion. Then the very important verse, most famous verse, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo vedanta kridveda videva chaham. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto, I am situated in everyone's heart. Mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha, from me comes knowledge. Jnanam, smritir is remembrance, jnanam is knowledge, apohanam cha is forgetfulness. Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo, you're supposed to know me from the study of all the Vedas. Vedanta krit vedavid eva chaham, I am the compiler of the Vedanta and I am also the knower of the Vedas. Dvavima purushau loke ksharascha akshara eva cha ksharaha sarvani bhutani kutasto akshara uchyate. There are 2 classes of beings, kshara and akshara. Kshara means those who fall down to the material world. Akshara means infallible. So in the material world, kshara sarvani bhutani kutasto akshara uchyate. In the material world, sarvani bhutani, in this material world, everybody is kshara, everybody is fallible. Kutasto akshara uchyate. And beyond this material world is a spiritual world where everybody is akshara, that means they don't fall down, infallible. Uttamaha purushastvanyaha paramatmeti udahritaha yo lokotrayam avishya vivartyavye ishvaraha. Besides these 2, Uttamaha Purushastvanya, Paramatmeti Udahrataha. So beyond these 2, who are the 2? Akshara and Kshara. Right? The fallible and the infallible. There is a supreme personality of God. He is also a person, but he is the imperishable Lord himself. Yo Lokatrayam Avishya. Avishya means entering. He is entering into the 3 worlds. Vibhartyavyaya Ishvaraha. And such a person, the Supreme Lord, is maintaining 3 worlds. Yes, like that. Yasmaksharam atitoham aksharaadapi chottamaha atismi loke vedecha pratitaha purushottamaha. Right? In both the worlds, which is the material world as well as in the spiritual world, the Lord is celebrated. Ati atosmi loka vedecha. He is glorified in the Vedas. Pratitaha purushottamaha. As what? As the supreme personality of Godhead. Yo mamevam sammodo janati purushottamam sa sarva vidvajati mam sarva bhavena bharata. Whoever knows me as the supreme personality of Godhead without doubting is the knower of everything. He therefore, what does he do? Sarva bhavena bharata. What do the people do? Such kind of people with faith. Sarvavid bhajati mam. They engage in my devotional service. They engage in my devotional service, O son of Bharata. Iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam maya naga. Etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha Bharata. Iti guhyatamam. Guhyatamam is very, very confidential. Guhyatama, guhyatara, guhyatama. Guhyatama means very, very confidential. This is the most confidential part of the Shastras or the Vedic scriptures. Idam yuktam mayanaga. That means, O sinless one, O Arjuna, etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrityascha Bharata. Whoever understands this, buddhva means one who is knowledgeable, one who is intelligent, one who is wise, one who understands this, what he will do? Kritakrityascha Bharata. Whatever he does, krita, right? Kaam karna hai, right? Kritakrityascha Bharata. All his endeavors will know perfection. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Kochi Gaura Bhaktavrind ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udhirayet Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajanabhaya Namo Pankajamaline Namo Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangre Pahi Pahi Mahayogin Deva Deva Jagatpate Nanyam Nyam Dvadabhyam Pashe Yatra Mrityu Parasparam Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvameko Dhayyamananam Apavargosi Samshrute. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 14, Brahma's Prayers to Lord Sri Krishna. Shri Brahma Vacha Nomedyate Pravapushe Tadidambaraya Gunjavatam Saparipicchala Sanmukhaya Vanyasraje Kavalavestra Vishana Venu Lakshma Shriye Mridupade Pashupangajaya Asyapi Deva Vapusho Mad Anugrahasya Svecha Mayasya Natu Bhuta Mayasya Kopi Neshe Mahidvatasitum Manasantarena Sakshat Tavaiva Kimutatma Sukhanubhutehe Jnane Prayasam Mudapasya Namanteva Jivanti Sanmukaritam Bhavadiya Vartham Sthani Sthashruti-gatam Tanuvan Manobir Ye Prayaso Ajita-jito Piyasitai Srilokyam Shreyah Shrutim Bhakti-mudasyate Vibho Klishyanti Ye Kevala Bodha-labdaye Tesham Asau Kleshala Eva Shishyate Nanyad-yata Sulatu Savagatinam Pureha Bhuman Bhavopayoginas Tvadarpiteha Nijakarma Labdaya Vibudhya Bhakteva Katopanitaya Prapedirenjo Chutate Katim Param Tatapi Bhuman Mahima Gunasyate Vibodhumarhatyamalantaraatmabhi Avikriyatsmanubhavada Rupato Hyananya Bodhyatmataya Nachanyatha Gunatmanastepi Gunan Vimatum Hitavatirnasya Kaiksharesya Kalena Yedva Vimitasu Kalpair Bhupam Shabaha Kemhika Dyuvasaha Tatte Nukampam Susamikshmano Bhujana Evatmakritam Vipakam Hridvadvapurbir Vidada Namaste Jivetaye Muktipade Sadaya Bhag Pashyeshamanarya Mananta Adye Paratmani Tvayapimayi Mayini Maya Mitatyekshitumatma Vaibhavam Hyaham Kiyanaicham Vivarchiragnau Ataha Samasvashutamirajovo Hyajanatastvat Pratavishamaninaha Ajavale Pandatamunda Chakshusha Esho Nukampyo Mainatavaniti Kwaham Tamo Mahadaham Kacharagni Varbhu Samveshitandagata Sapta Vishatastikaya Vedrik Vidavi Ganitanda Paranucharya Vatadvaroma Vivarasya Jate Mahitvam Utshepanam Garbhagatasya Padayo Kim Kalpate Madurdoksha Jagase किम् अस्ति नास्ति व्यपदेशभूषितम् तवास्ति कुक्षे कियदप्यनन्तः जगत्त्रयान्तो दधि सम्प्लवोदे नारायणस्योदरणाभिनालात् विनिर्गतोऽजस्त्विति वान्न वै मृषा किन्त्वीश्वरत्वन्न विनिर्गतोऽस्मि नारायणस्त्वं न हि सर्वदेहिनाम् आत्मस्य दीशत् किल लोकसाक्षी नारायणोऽङ्गं नरभूजलायनत् तच्चापि सत्यं न तवैव माया तच्चेजलस्तं तव सज्जगत्वपुः किं मेन दृष्टं भगवंस्तदैव किं वा सुदृष्टं हृदि मे तदैव किं नो सपद्येव पुनर्व्यदर्शि अत्रैव माया दमनावतारे हि अस्य प्रपञ्चस्य बहिः सुतस्य कृत्स्नस्य चान्तर्जठरे जनन्या माया त्वमेव प्रकटीकृतां ते यस्य कुक्ष्वाविदं सर्वं सात्मं भाति यथा तथा तत्त्वय्यपीह तत्सर्वं किमिदं मायया विना अद्यैव तद्व्रेत स किं मम न ते माया त्वमादर्शितम् एकोऽसि प्रथमं ततो व्रज सुहृत् वत्सा समस्ता अपि तावन्तोऽसि चतुर्भुजा सदखिलैः साकं मयोपासितास् तावन्त्येव जगन्त्यभूस्तदमितं ब्रह्माद्वयं शिष्यते अजानतां त्वत्पदवीं मनात्मनि आत्मात्मना वा संवितत्य मायां सृष्टव इवाहं जगतो विधान इव त्वमीशोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः श्रेयसृशौ ईश तथैव नृष्वपि तीर्यक्षु यदा स्वपि ते जनस्य जन्मा सतां दुर्मदने ग्रहाय प्रभो विधातः सदनुग्रहाय च को वेति भूमन् भगवन् परात्मन् योगेश्वरो तेर्भवतस्त्रिलोक्याम् क्व वा कथं वा कति वा कदेति विस्तारयन् क्रीडसि योगमायाम् तस्मादिदं जगदशेषमसत्स्वरूपम् स्वप्नावमस्तदिशनं पूर्वदुःखदुःखम् त्वय्येव नित्यसुखबोधतनावनन्ते मायात उद्यदपि यत् सदिवाववाथि एकस्त्वमात्मपुरुषः पुराणः सत्यः स्वयं ज्योतिरनन्त आद्यः नित्यो अक्षरोऽजस्रसुखो निरञ्जनः पूर्णाद्वयो मुक्तोपादितो मृतः एवं विदं त्वां सकलात्मनामपि स्वात्मानमात्मात्मतया विचक्षते गुर्वर्कलब्धोपनिषत्सु चक्षुषा एते तरन्तीव भवानरतां मुदिम् आत्मानमेवात्मतया विजानतां तेनैव जातं निखिलं प्रपञ्चितं ज्ञानेन भूयोऽपि च तत् प्रलीयते रज्ज्वामहेर्भोगभवाभौ यथा अज्ञानसंज्ञौ भवबन्धमोक्षौ द्वौ नाम नान्यौ सरतज्ञभावात् अजस्रचित्यात्मनि केवले परे विचार्यमाने तरणाविवाहने त्वमात्मनं परं मत्वा परमात्मानमेव च आत्मपुनर्बहिर्मृग्या अहोज्ञा जनताज्ञताः अन्तर्भवेनन्तभवन्तमेव यदत्यजन्तो मृगयन्ति सन्तः असन्तम् अपि यन्ति अहिमन्तरेण सन्तं गुणं तं किमुयन्ति सन्तः अतापि ते देवपदं भुजद्वया प्रसादलेशानुगृहीत एव हि जानाति तत्त्वं भगवान् ममीमयीं नो न चान्ये कोऽपि चिरं विचिन्वन् तदस्तु मे नाथ स भूरिभागो भवेत्रवाण्यत्र त्ववाचिरस्यम् येनाहमेकोऽपि भवज्जनानां भूत्वा निषेवे तव पादपल्लवम् अहोतिधन्या वृजघोरमण्यः स्तन्यामृतं पीतमतीव ते मुदा यासां विभो वत्सरतात्मजात्मना यत्तृप्तयेद्यापि न चालमध्वरः अहोभाग्यं नन्द गोपव्रजौकसां यन्मित्रं परमानन्दं पूर्णं ब्रह्म सनातनम् येषां तु भाग्यमहिमा च तथावदस्ताम् एकादशेभिः वयं वत भूरिभागाः एतदृशीकचषकैरसकृत् पिबामः सर्वादयोऽङ्घ्रि उदजामतु अमृतासवं ते तद्भूरिभाग्यं इह जन्म किमप्यताव्यं यद्गोकुलेऽपि कथमाङ्घ्रिरजोऽभिषेकम् यज्जीवितं तु निखिलं भगवान् मुकुन्दस्त्वद्यापि यत्पदरजः श्रुतिमृग्यमेव येषां गोषो निवासिनमुत भवान् किं देवरतीति न चेतो विश्वफलात् फलं त्वदपरं पुत्रापि अयन्मुह्यति सद्वेषादिव पूतनापि सकुला त्वामेव देवा पिता यद्दामार्थ सुहृत्प्रियात्मतनया प्राणाश्रयस्त्वत्कृते तावद्रागतयस्तेन तावत् कारागृहं गृहं तावान्मोहोऽङ्घ्रिनिगडो यावत् कृष्णान ते जनाः। प्रपञ्चं निष्प्रपञ्चोऽपि विदम्बयसि भूतले प्रपन्न जनतानन्द सन्दोहं प्रतितुं प्रभो। जानन्त एव जानन्तु किं बहुक्त्या न मे प्रभो मनसो वपुषो वाचो वैभवं तावगोचरः। अनुजानीहि मां कृष्ण सर्वं त्वं वेचि सर्वदृक् त्वमेव जगतां नाथो जगत् एतत्तवार्पितम्। श्रीकृष्ण वृष्णिकुलपुष्करजोषदायीन् श्वानिर्जरद्वीजपशुरादिवृद्धिकारीन् उद्धर्म शार्वर हरक्षीति राक्षसद्रुः आकल्पमार्कमर्हन् भगवन् नमस्ते। श्रीशुक उवाच इति अविष्टूय भूमानां त्रिपरिक्रम्य पादयोः नत्वाभीष्टं जगद्दाथ स्वधाम प्रत्यपद्यता। ततोऽनुज्ञाप्य भगवान् स्वभुवं प्रागवस्थितान् वत्सान् पुलीनमानिन्ये यदा पूर्वसकं स्वखम् एकस्मिन्नपि यातेब्दे प्राणेशं चान्तरात्मनः कृष्णमाया हता राजन् क्षणार्धं मे निरेर्भकाः किं किं न विस्मरन्तीह माया मोहितचेतसाः यन्मोहितं जगत्सर्वम् अभीक्ष्णं विस्मृतात्मकम् ऊचुश्च सुहृदः कृष्णं स्वागतं तेति रंहसा नैकोऽप्यभोज्य कवला एहित साधुभूच्यताम्। ततो हसं ऋषिकेशो अभ्यवाहृत्य सहार्भकैः दर्शायं शर्मा जगरं न्यवर्ततावनाद्व्रजम् बर्हा प्रशूनवनदातु विचित्रिताङ्गः क्रोधाम वेणुदलशृङ्गरवोत्सवाद्यः वत्सान् गृणन् अनुगगीत पवित्र कीर्तिर् गोपी दृगुत्सवदृशी प्रविवेश गोष्ठम्। अद्यानेन महाव्यालो योषोदानन्दशूनुना अतो विता वयं चष्मान् इति बालाव्रजे जगुः। श्रीराजोवाच ब्रह्मन् परोद्भवे कृष्णे यान् प्रेम कथं भवेत् यो भूतपूर्वस्तु लोकेषु स्वोद्भावेषु विगत्यताम्। श्रीशुक उवाच सर्वेषामपि भूतानां नृपा स्वात्मैव वल्लभः इतरे पत्यवित्ताध्यास्तद्वल्लभतायैव हि तद्राजेन्द्र यदा स्नेहः स्वस्वकात्मनि देहिनां न तदा ममतालाम्बि पुत्रवित्तगृहादिषु देहात्मवादिनं पुंसाम् अपि राजन्यसत्तमा यथा देहप्रियतमस्तथा नाहि अनुच्ये च तम् देहोऽपि ममता भाक्ष्येत् तर्हि असौ नात्मवत्प्रियः यज्जीर्यति अपि देहेऽस्मिन् जीविताशा बलीयसी तस्मात् प्रियतमः स्वात्मा सर्वेषामपि देहिनां तदर्थम् एव सकलं जगत् एतच्चराचरम् कृष्णम् एनम् अवेहित्वम् आत्मानामखिलात्मनां जगद्दीताय सोऽप्यत्र देहि वा भाति मायया वस्तुतो जनतामत्र कृष्णं स्थाश्नु च विष्णु च भगवद्रूपमखिलं नान्यद्वस्ति किञ्चन सर्वेषामपि वस्तूनां भावार्थो भवति स्थितः तस्यापि भगवान् कृष्णः किम् अतद्वस्तुरूप्यताम्। समाश्रिताये पदपल्लवप्लवम् महत्परं पुण्येशो मुरारे भवाम्बुधिर्वत्स पदं परं पदं 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 यद् न तेषाम् एतत् सर्वम् अज्ञातं यत्पृष्टोऽहम् इव त्वया तत्कौमारे हरिकृतं पौगण्डे परिकीर्तितम् एतत् सुहृद्विचरितं मुरारे अगार्दनं शाद्वलजेमनं च व्यक्ते तरद्रूपमजोर्वविष्टवं शृण्वन् गृह्णन्नेति नरो किलार्थान् एवं विहारै कौमारं जातुर्व्रजे नीलयानै सेतुबन्धेर्मर्कटतोत्प्लवनादिभिः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. Now we'll sing this beautiful song. This is called Chora Ashtakam, glorifying the butter thief. Braje prasidam navanita choram Upangananam cha dukula choram Aneka janmarjita papa choram Choragraganyam purusham namami श्रीराधिकाया हृदयस्य चौरम् नवाम्बुधौ श्यामलकान्तिचौरम् पराश्रितानां च समस्तचौरम् चौरग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पादाश्रितं यः करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनम् केनाप्यहो भीषणचौरयेद् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरत्यशेषम् गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशि आश्चर्यरूपो नमो चौरम् दृष्टश्रुतो वा न काया कदापि दानं च मानं च ततेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च कृत्वा मम सर्वमेव पलायसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचौरा त्वं भक्तिदानासि मया निरूढा चिन्नत्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धं भिन्नत्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धम् चिन्नत्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धम् नैवात्मनो भक्त कृतं तु बन्धम् मन्मानसे तामसि राशिघोरे कारागृहे दुःखमये निबध लभस्व हे चौर हरे चिराय स्वचौर्यदोषोचितमेव दण्डम् कारागृहे वस सदा हृदये मदीये मद्भक्तिपाशदृढबन्धन निश्चलः सन् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतन्तरेऽपि सर्वस्व चौराहृदयान् हि मोचयामि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So now we'll sing this beautiful song, which is called Yugala Ashtakam, written by Srila Jiva Goswami. Krishna Prema Mayi Radha, Radha Prema Mayo Hari, Jivanena Dhane Nityam Radha Krishna Gati Mama, Krishna Sya Dravinam Radha राधाया द्रविणान् हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गति मम कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरि कृष्ण प्राणमयी राधा राधा प्राणमयो हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण द्रवमयी राधा राधा द्रवमयो हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण गेहे स्थितो राधा राधा गेहो स्थितो हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम कृष्ण चित्त स्थिता राधा राधा चित्त स्थितो हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम नीलाम्बरधरा राधा पीताम्बरधरो हरि जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम वृन्दावनेश्वरी राधा कृष्णो वृन्दावनेश्वरः जीवनेन धने नित्यं राधा कृष्ण गतिर्मम Radha Krishna Gati Mama. Radha Krishna Gati Mama. Radha Krishna Gati Mama. Radha Krishna Gati Mama. Hare Krishna. So it's a very beautiful song written by Jiva Goswami. You can meditate on the song. How Radha and Krishna are our only life and shelter, and we don't have anybody else other than Radha and Krishna to bestow us upon mercy and take us back home, back to Godhead. That can be our prayer. Hare Krishna. So now we will quickly jump into our study of perfection of yoga. We are on chapter number 6. I hope everybody is reading this chapter, even in case you miss any of these classes. Because it's very wonderful. Every line of Srila Prabhupada's books have such profound knowledge. So it is our own interest that we need to read these books and cultivate an interest for it. Right? And Lord Krishna is explaining, and Prabhupada is also reiterating this point of how living beings are generated in this material world. And how are they manifested like that? And how do we actually go back to the spiritual world? We may understand all of this. But such knowledge will not take us back home, back to Godhead. What will ultimately take us back home, back to Godhead is to understand Jivera Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. I'm going to be eternally engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, I want to derive pleasure. Anandamayo Abhyasat. So let's see what Krishna is telling Arjuna from here. Who would like to read? Yeah, Mataji, go ahead. Oh, yeah. So unmute yourself, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji, Hari Bol. Family of yogis or the devotees has a much better chance of cultivating again that spiritual life from which he has fallen. Krishna tells Arjuna, Tatratam buddhi samyoham lapte paurva dehikam yate cha tato bhuya samsiddhau kurunandana. On taking such a birth, he again revives the divine consciousness of his previous life and he tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. O son of Kuru. Bhagavad Gita 6.43. Being born in a family of
so Samsiddhau Haribol. Samsiddhau Kurunandana. That means all our endeavors will attain perfection. If Tatra Sam Buddhi Samyogam Lavate Paurvadehikam. Yatatecha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. That means anyone who actually wants to revive his Krishna consciousness and wants to revive or reawaken the dormant Krishna consciousness, and if he makes progress in it, he will attain complete success. And then what will it give? Samsiddhir haritoshanam. It will give pleasure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is complete success of all the activities that we perform, which is the happiness to serve, service, satisfaction, and pleasure of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. Sarva Gopishna Mataji, please go ahead. Being born in a family of those.
Hare Krishna Mati, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Family of those who execute yoga or devotional service, one remember his spiritual activities executed in his previous life. Anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness seriously is not an ordinary person. He must have taken to the same process in his previous life. Why is this? Purva abhyasena teneva kriyate hi avaso api saha. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. It is Bhagavad Gita 6.44. In the material world, we have experienced that we do not carry our assets from one life to another. I may have millions of dollars in the bank, but as soon as my body is finished, my bank balance is also. At death, the bank balance does not go with me. It remains in the bank to be enjoyed by somebody else. This is not the case with the spiritual culture. Even if one enacts a very small amount of the spiritual platform, he takes that with him to his next life, and he picks up again from that point. When one picks up this knowledge that was interpreted, he should know that.
Thank you, Mataji. Haribol. So here, Prabhupada is talking about the results of spiritual activities and the results of materialistic, ritualistic activities. The materialistic, ritualistic activities, whatever success we may get, will die with this body. Whereas those activities which are performed in the spiritual platform, although very small level, not much is performed. But if anyone renders devotional service even to a small extent, then what? The Lord will protect such a devotee from the greatest type of fear, and take him to his next life. And then what does he do? He picks up from the point where he left and continues the process of Krishna consciousness. Sindhu Mataji, go ahead. When one picks up this knowledge that was interrupted, you should know from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Pranam Shri Prabhupada ki jai. When one picks up this knowledge that was interrupted, he should know that he should now finish the balance and complete the yogic process. One should not take the chance of finishing up the process in another birth, but should resolve to finish it in this life. We should be determined in this way. Somehow or the other in my last life, I did not finish my spiritual cultivation. Now Krishna has given me another opportunity, so let me finish it up with this life. Thus, after leaving this body, one will not take birth again in this material world, where birth, old age, disease, and death are omnipresent, but will return to Krishna. One who takes shelter.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. So here Krishna is talking about, Prabhupada is repeating Krishna's words of Bhagavad Gita. What does he say? Yadgatvan nivartante tad dhamma paramam. You today also we read that Bhagavad Gita verse. Right? Yadgatvan nivartante. One who attains my spiritual abode does not again come back to this material world and will be free from Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Divyadi. All right. So who wants to read? We'll finish this chapter with this. Anyone wants to read? Okay, I'll finish this. One who takes shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna sees this material world simply as a place of danger. One who takes to spiritual culture, this material world is actually unfit. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, this place is not fit for a gentleman. One who has approached Krishna and has attempted to make spiritual progress. Krishna, who is situated within the heart, begins to give his directions. In the Gita, Sri Krishna says, for one who wants to remember him, he gives remembrance. And for one who wants to forget him, he allows him to forget. Again, this is a verse from chapter number 15.15. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matah smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaisya sarvairahame bhavidyo vedanta kridveda videva chaham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead gives us opportunities for remembrance according to the various situations that we are placed in. So we simply have to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, and in this way we attain the goal of life, which is Krishna Prem. Hare Krishna. So who are there? Let's see. And then quickly we will do Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll end our session. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we have Leela Manohar Prabhu joining us after a very long time. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for joining us. Shobha Mataji. Then we have Moshmi Mataji, Nisha Mataji, Sarvagopushni Mataji, Sindhu Mataji, Basant Panchami Mataji, Hema Mataji, Karpavi Mataji. All are regular people who join us every day. Today being Saturday, I think most of them are busy, maybe services in the temple or whatever. But we will do it every day in this month of Purushottam Adhik Mas. From next month onwards, we will do Monday to Friday. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koji Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So we'll do Harinam Sankirtan. Nama Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatyaadishatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, Gurudev, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. हरे राम संकीर्तन की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna. So everyone can unmute themselves now. Anyone has any query or questions or any realizations to share, then we can take that. Otherwise, we can end the session. Today we're ending the session on time, by the way. Generally, always go over time. All right. So anything from anyone? Okay, fine. Thank you for joining in. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. So meet you all at 5 a.m. tomorrow morning for a chanting session, and then we will resume Monday to Friday, 12:45 p.m. Indian Standard Time for our study session. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.